Hi there, and welcome to our webinar, How to Install AddThis. I'm Justin Thorpe, Marketing Manager for AddThis. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping notes. We are recording this webinar and will send out the links to the recording and slides. Please submit your questions in the Zoom console at the top of your screen. For those of you not familiar with AddThis, we help attract and engage your web and mobile visitors with smart and beautiful marketing tools powered by extraordinary interest-based behavioral data. You've likely seen our share buttons or other tools which are on over 15 million websites. On to today's speaker. Paul is the Chief Support Engineer for AddThis and manages our global support team. After many years of helping AddThis customers install our tools, he knows the ins and the outs of how to get the product to do exactly what you're looking for. Today, he's going to walk through installing AddThis, common mistakes, and some cool features to get you started. And of course, we have a lot of time for questions at the end. So if you want to, please get your questions queued up now. Paul, take it away.
Hi, everybody. The first step to installing AddThis is getting your AddThis code. The way to do that is through the AddThis dashboard. So go to the AddThis dashboard, click Get the Code, and you'll be taken to this screen. Now, the first one is the JavaScript that powers all of the AddThis tools. This only needs to be on the page once, and if you just click, it'll be your keyboard. We have some instructions on the page below that to show you where to put it, and in the upcoming slides I'll show you where to put it for Tumblr, Squarespace, and how to install our plugin on WordPress. Below that, we have the code for any inline tools that you've activated. These will go on the page where you want the tools to show up, and I'll show you more about that when I install on Tumblr. So first I'm going to install AddThis on Tumblr. To do that, you go to your Tumblr homepage and click Edit Theme. Then click Edit HTML. And then you first take the AddThis JavaScript that you copied from the dashboard, and you put it all the way at the bottom, right before this closing body tag. And the reason you do that is this allows the entire page to load before it runs our JavaScript, which helps page load time. Now, for the inline tools, where that goes depends on your theme. For mine, it goes on line 510, which is right here. And it goes there because this will show up in every single post. Now, for Tumblr, you added a couple new additional pieces of code. First is this data URL, which goes to the permalink of the post, and then the data title, which shows the title of the post. And this makes sure that the buttons will share that specific post and not the entire page. So you click Update Preview, and you can see the AddThis tools have shown up inline. The sidebar is hidden by this, but when you click Save and go back, you'll see the AddThis tool show up. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to install AddThis on Squarespace. To do that, first you go to Settings, then Advanced, and then to Code Injection. And this will inject the code at the bottom of the page. So you take the code that you copied from our dashboard and paste it into the footer section, and then click Save. And then you go back, and then the AddThis tools show up. And that's how you install AddThis on Squarespace. Now, installing AddThis on WordPress is even easier. And to do that, you log into your WordPress dashboard and click Add New on the plugins, and then search for AddThis. And then click Install Now on the Share buttons by AddThis. This is the latest plugin. And then you click Activate. And then you'll go to the configuration screen, and you'll find, so everything's configured. And if you go to the WordPress site, you'll see the AddThis tool showing up. So that's how you install AddThis on those three platforms. Now, here are three common installation mistakes that people make. The first is they put the JavaScript on the page more than once. You only need this one time, and you don't want to put it on the page more than once because the way browsers work, it's going to process that JavaScript every time it sees it. So if you put it on the page more than once, it's going to slow down page load time. So only put the JavaScript on the page one time, and we recommend doing it down at the bottom of the page. Second is not using meta tags. Now, meta tags are used by various social networks to provide a richer experience for the users when they share. So this is how you get images in a Facebook post or even an embedded video. To use meta tags, you put them in the header of the site, and this boilerplate came from a blog post that we'll link to in the email after this webinar. Some CMSs like Squarespace also put these in automatically, and many WordPress plugins will do this for you, including the very popular Yoast SEO plugin. Now, mistake number 3 is not including a canonical tag on the pages on your site, and this is good not only for AddThis to let us know what URL we should be sharing, and also you need this on the page for our Bitly integration to work, but it also works for SEO because this gives the search engine the correct URL to share, and this will actually boost your SEO if you have canonical tags on the page. And like other meta tags, there are plugins that will do this for you, and many CMSs do it automatically. So now we're going to take a look at 3 features of AddThis that you can't miss with our audience targeting. First is building your email list. And this is great if you want to get returning visitors to sign up for your email marketing. So the first thing you do is you go to Tools, and then click Targeting. And then you click Create a New Rule. And then click Collect Email Addresses. So you adjust the text, sign up for our email list. And then you click Collect Email, and you can specify the email list service that you'd like to use. We support MailChimp and Constant Contact and many others, and we also offer the ability to store them on our servers, and that you can then download as a CSV to import into any other mail list software that you want. And then if you want to target returning visitors, you go to Audiences, and you have many different audiences that you can target. So you click on Returning, and click Returning Visitors, click Continue. And then with just one button push, Save and Activate, it'll be active on your site. Now, the other thing you do is to target new visitors with a custom message, giving them more information about your site, for example, so to promote a specific link on your page. So you go to Targeting, and then Create New, and then click Promote a Link, and click here for more information. And then you enter the URL that you'd like to promote. And then click Audiences, New versus Returning, and then click New, and Continue. And again, to activate it, all you do is click Save and Activate. Now, the final thing I want to show you today is how to target UTM campaigns. And this is a great way to get to promote a specific link to people coming from your Google AdWords campaigns, or to direct people to a specific location if they come in from an AdWords campaign. So you're going to, like as before, click Create a New Rule, and then click Promote a Link, and then enter a URL. And then you click Thanks for visiting. And then under Audiences, you select campaign names. Now, we include a link to the Google support so that you can find out what your campaign name is. So you enter the name, add campaign 1, and click Continue. And then click Save and Activate to activate it on your site. So now it's time for the Q&A.
Thanks so much, Paul. And as we said, now we've got probably one of our most well-known experts in installing AddThis tools. So if you have questions, if there was any part of that you would like us to go over again, please submit it in the Zoom Q&A console. I think, Paul, to start it off with, if you were to give people one tip for installing the AddThis code correctly, like where they should put it on the page. So they've found the JavaScript, and now they need to put it into their code, regardless of what platform it is. Maybe they're doing it with just a static HTML page. What's the one thing that you would tell them?
definitely put it as far down on the page as you can. That'll make sure that all the other JavaScript libraries are loaded and everything's ready to go so that the user can start interacting with your page without having to wait for our tools to load. Our tools load very quickly, don't get me wrong, but it's better for the user experience for them to be able to start reading the page and seeing what's on there rather than waiting for waiting for us to render all the sharing buttons, because those can come a little later. So definitely put it as far down on the page as you can.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Next question is from Todd. Is it possible to change the text that auto-generates in a tweet?
Yes, we do have the ability to change the text in a tweet. The way by default it's pulled from the title of the page, but you can override that using some JavaScript configuration. It's a little more technical than installing the tools on page, but if you email help@addthis.com, we'll be able to get back to you and get you the right code, including the email, the text that you'd like to use, and we'll give you the exact code you need and instructions on where to put it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Todd also wants to know about, does AddThis support or have plans to support email integration with Marketo?
That's definitely one that we've heard about. We add them based on demand. So if you know more people who would like us to support Marketo, definitely have them reach out to us and we'll bring it up with our product team. In the meantime, you can use the AddThis email collection, which will download as a CSV, and you can import a CSV into Marketo.
Awesome. Next question is from Anita, and she wanted to know more if you can provide tips or talk to how to install AddThis on Joomla.
So the best way to install AddThis on Joomla is to install it directly into your template. And again, where this goes and what files to put it in depends on the Joomla template, but it would be similar to how it worked in Tumblr, where you would put the JavaScript in the template all the way at the bottom, right before the closing body tag, and then you would take the inline code and put it in the template to go along with the posts, and adding the right code to generate the permalink and the title for the post so that it's shared correctly. We have instructions on how to do that, and if you email help@addthis.com, we'd be more than happy to help you out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Elle wants to know about, does AddThis work with GoDaddy?
Yes, we actually have an integration with GoDaddy. You don't have to add any code. They've included it in their site builder suite, so you can add the AddThis code right in there. And I've talked with their support team, and they're more than happy to help you as well if you have any questions. If you want more customization than the GoDaddy integration offers, you can add our JavaScript and HTML to it, but again, that's going to be a little more work.
Awesome. Todd wants to know, how do I include a photo for a Facebook post?
Well, that goes back to the meta tags I mentioned earlier. Facebook uses something called the Open Graph standard to determine the image and title and other attributes that are shared. So you would need to put the Open Graph on the tag on the page, the OG image tag, and then point it to the image you'd like to share. And that's all you need to do to include an image with a Facebook post.
Awesome. Similarly, someone asked, does AddThis work with HubSpot? Now, both HubSpot has a website creator, but then also as an email marketing platform.
I'm not sure how it would work with HubSpot's website creator. I'd have to do some digging. But to answer the question, does it work with something? If you can put JavaScript on the page, then it can work with that. We also offer email newsletter buttons that do not require any JavaScript. Those you have to configure individually. It doesn't share the URL automatically. But as long as you can put JavaScript on the page, and it's not in like an iframe or something, you can put AddThis on a page on most things.
Next question is, Steph definitely would like to know more about installation on Drupal, so you can speak a little bit more to that.
Drupal is we used to have a plugin, but we haven't really updated it to keep it up to date with the dashboard tools. So the best thing to do with Drupal is just like with Joomla to install it on your template, because you only really need to put it there one time, and it's more of a template thing than a plugin. And then again, use the put the inline tools on the page, and then make sure you're specifying the URL and title to share. So yeah, that's how you install it on Drupal. And I'm pretty sure we have something in the Academy, in the AddThis Academy, about how to install on Drupal as well. If not, I'd be happy to write an article.
Awesome. Todd wants to know, in terms of the canonical tag, can you speak a little bit more to that? Is that something that users install, or that they look for? Like, speak a little bit more about the canonical tag and how that's specifically useful for AddThis users.
So for AddThis users, the canonical tag is what we look for first when determining the URL to share. So if you're using dynamic content, you would want to put a canonical tag on the page. Where you put it is you put it in the head section of an HTML page. So HTML page has a head section that is not visible, and that's where the meta tags and CSS inclusions go, and that's where you would put the canonical tag. And again, many content management systems do this automatically. I would be surprised if there was one that doesn't. It's defined in your template, so if you don't have it in your template, it's not going to show up. But it's easy to add, and there's actually a really great article from Google about canonical tags and where to add them and what they do that we'll include in the notes for this webinar.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next question. Kat wanted to know, and maybe you can actually just show us this, just where and how to access the AddThis platform. I don't know if you want to give a quick tour of the dashboard overall.
Oops. Whoops. Okay, so to access AddThis, you go to addthis.com/dashboard, and it's going to prompt you for your login, your email, and password. If you don't know your password, we have a forgot password link in there. If you still don't know your password and you don't have access to the email, shoot an email to help@addthis.com with the URL of your site and the previous email address you had, and we'd be happy to reset your password or change the email address for you. So once you're logged in and you're in AddThis, you can see that there's you have your analytics view with visits, shares, follows, related posts. I created an example profile ID for this, so we don't have any visits other than me testing this. So it's a lot more colorful when you log in. And then to get the tools, you go to the tools section, and you can see all the tools that are available. This is going to be changing, so keep an eye on it. So you've got the share buttons here, which are share buttons, follow buttons, which allow you to link to your social media profiles, the audience targeting that I've gone over, and then also the related posts, which used to be called recommended content. And this will recommend articles on your site to users based on how popular the articles are, and if you're a pro user, also based on the user's interests.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next question. Let me just find it. Kay Simpson wants to know, how is AddThis installed on .NET Nuke, or is there a tutorial that I can find somewhere? Do we have any experience with .NET Nuke?
The only experience I have with .NET Nuke is that I've heard of it. But if it's anything like any of the other content management platforms out there or frameworks, again, all you would have to do is put it, because everything in AddThis runs client side. You don't have to worry about installing a plugin into your CMS or doing any of that. All you have to do is put it in the template at the bottom of the page, and then find where you want the buttons to show up and put the inline code there. And that's all you have to do to install AddThis on any website, provided it can run JavaScript. We've had some problems with ones that don't run JavaScript, like Google Sites, for instance. But as long as .NET Nuke, you can run JavaScript on it. So you just, in your theme, put it at the bottom of the page, and then put the inline buttons where you would like them on the page.
And so when you say at the bottom of the page, where specifically in the HTML code do you mean?
Well, we have that on the Get the Code page. You have an example right here where it has the closing body tag. So you've got the head and the title and the body, and then right before the end of the body, you paste the code right there.
Awesome. And if anyone has any questions about getting that installed, what types of support, and maybe you can show them the different mechanisms. So maybe they're logged into the dashboard and they need some help. What are different ways that someone can get help from the support team? And does that include phone support?
We don't have the ability to do phone support right now. We are looking into the ability of doing, for pro users, some installation help, but we have a very small support team. There's 5 people, including myself. So we don't really have time to provide a large amount of, to answer the phones. But if you're on the dashboard, you go to the Get the Code page, you scroll to the bottom, and then you click Contact Our Support Ninjas. And this will open up your mail client, and it will get you started in the process of sending an email. Our average time response is less than 2 hours, and our satisfaction rate is over 90%. So we are committed to making sure that you can get in touch with us and that you're going to get a good resolution to this.
Awesome. Next question. I would like to use Bitly links. What else do I need to do besides setting up the login and API key? I don't know if you want to walk through integrating your own Bitly integration with the AddThis code.
The Bitly integration, so once you have the API key and your login, you would go to the link shortening, and then you put the login and API key in here. Now, there's another piece of JavaScript that you need to add to the page to tell our JavaScript to shorten with Bitly. So, and then you can find more about that by clicking the Learn More link.
Awesome, fantastic. That shares that question. Todd asked, what happens if I do all that and it still doesn't work? Then you just reach out to help@addthis.com, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to walk you through it.
Yep, and make sure to include the URL of the page that you're trying to get Bitly shortening on, and then we'll be able to go there and take a look and diagnose the problem when we get there. Often, because there's people load so many JavaScript libraries on their page, there's sometimes a conflict between that, which could cause a problem. I've seen, JavaScript errors, like very simple JavaScript errors, completely, break sharing on the page because of how JavaScript works. So, and everybody on my team is a developer by trade, so they know what JavaScript errors to look for and can help you, debug that code.
Next question, is it possible to install more than one AddThis feature on a website, specifically 2 different link promotions on 2 different pages? Show them how to do that?
Yes, you can do that, and then it's actually pretty easy. So let's just use one I already created, and then you go to Design, when you go to Audiences, and then you click Show Hide, and you can add, About. So this will only show up on addthis.com/about. And then if you have another one you want to show on a different page, you do the same thing. You go to Audiences and go to Show Hide, and then enter. And so this will only show up on addthis.com/contact. So yeah, you can have, and then if you're a pro user, you get a large number of these. Free users get 2 audience targeting rules. The share buttons, you can put as many on the page as you'd like, but we recommend, what I've seen the best is to have share buttons at the beginning of the page, share buttons in the sidebar, and then share buttons at the bottom of the page. So you can activate as many or as few of these as you'd like.
Definitely wanted to know, how does the sharing sidebar work on mobile so it doesn't overlap with the content?
So the sharing sidebar, you can specify the width that you'd like it to show up. So if you click on Show More Options, you can, this responsive width. So for any window size that's smaller than 979 pixels. So this would be like an iPad and smaller. The sharing sidebar won't show up. It'll actually show our mobile toolbars, which show up at the bottom of the page. So the sharing sidebar won't clobber your content on mobile, where it'll be smart enough to hide and then show the content at the bottom of the page like our mobile toolbar. And I'll go back to sharing buttons and show you. So this is the mobile sharing toolbar. It shows up at the bottom of the page. Like that.
Awesome. Kat wants to know, can we use other shorteners as long as we have the API keys?
Unfortunately, we don't support, we support awe.sm, I think that's called, pronounced awesome, but that's the only other link shortener we support at this time.
Then lastly, were there any recent changes to the dashboard that made the what sharing buttons are available disappear?
Yeah, so for certain profiles, we're going to be rearranging how the tools work to make it work a little better. So instead of having multiple different tools that essentially do the same thing, there are going to be configuration options within individual tools. I am actually this afternoon going to be writing an article on how to get from how to get the same look out of the different settings in the new dashboard. So look for that coming out, tomorrow, hopefully.
Awesome. Well, if we didn't get a chance to answer your question, please email help@addthis.com. Paul and his team are fantastic. As I said, they have an incredible response time, and we'll get to you as quickly as possible and would love to help answer any questions that you have. Also, as I said at the top of the webinar, we will be sending out a recording and all of the resources that we mentioned throughout the course of this webinar. We're also going to be cutting it up into individual chunks. So if you are interested in a particular segment about WordPress or Joomla or how to use one of the particular features, we'll be distributing those separately as well. So please look out for those additionally. Thank you so much for coming to this webinar. I hope you found it useful. There will be a survey that will get sent around shortly, so please fill that out. We really appreciate the feedback, and thanks again for coming to this webinar.